I'm MM and I ask a lot of questions.
I'm Pia, and I don't have a filter.
We'll be asking questions you dare not ask.
And giving answers that might be a little too honest.
So listen up, come and eavesdrop.
This is
The
the Chismis
Chismis
Table.
Table.
Bullying has been here since what? Forever. Since we were kids. And it was only I think in 1999 that people started having movements and talking about it. I'm sometimes I think it's a cultural thing. Sometimes maybe it's the way people are brought up. So in our discussion today, Pia and I would really try to dig deep into our experiences on bullying, facts that we've encountered, and hopefully you pick up something and learn from our experience as well. Yes, I know we all have our bullying stories. Maybe we're a bully or we've been bullied. So Pia, when was your first ever memory of being bullied or being a bully?
Being bullied, I can't remember a specific time, but I do. It's always about two things: my hair and my weight. So, I mean,
Okay.
if you remember my hair when I was still in,
Yes.
right? It's not this.
Hindi pa kasi uso yung kulot
Yeah, and tsaka
during that time.
I didn't know how to take care of it because my mom was my number one anti-curly hair
Ah, she
advocate.
didn't she didn't like it.
No.
Okay.
So what she
Okay.
would make me do is she would make me while it's wet, she will make me brush my
Mm.
hair to get it to straighten.
Straight enough.
So I'm not sure if you guys know what happens to curly hair when it is brushed, but that is the
No.
number one no. Like I ever since I started ever since I started to learn how to take care of my
Mm.
hair, I haven't brushed my hair in what 5 7 years. Like literally have not
Ah,
brushed
really?
my hair in 7 years.
Oh.
I don't own a brush, nothing. So what
Okay.
happens is it
Okay.
goes poof, right? Like stringy, witchy hair that goes.
Ah.
So that was my hair for a really long time, and people would put
Mm.
pens and stuff, random
What?
things in my hair,
What?
and because my hair was really long and was really thick, I wouldn't feel that
Mm.
I had
Mm.
stuff in my hair.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And then the weight, of course, I never was a skinny child. Like for as ever
Mm.
since I left my mom's womb, I've been fat. And that
Okay.
is like an easy target for
Mm.
anyone to
Mm.
be
Yeah, yeah.
a target for bullying from everybody, from kids our age, from
Mm.
titas and
Mm.
titos when
Yes.
it's Christmas season, from my parents, from my mom. So everyone just keeps hammering those things into you. And I think that's also why I became a kind of a bully in a
Mm.
way.
Mm.
But before
Because
that, what's your early bullying
earliest
that you were
uh
the one bullied?
that
Were
I
you
was the
ever?
one. Okay, I remember the first time I was bullied was in grade 6.
Mm-hmm.
That was my earliest memory, because during that time we were what, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We were going through puberty. We had changes in our body, and it was during PE time. So that was the time that I started having underarm hair.
Mm.
Kakahiya. Okay. So I started
You
having,
were
I
12.
started,
That's fine.
yeah, I know. So I didn't know about it. I didn't know what to do. I thought it was, normal. So I just let it grow, let it hang. And then I had a classmate in PE. We were playing around. This is a guy. And then he saw it. And then ever since, he would tease me. He would call me gubat. Gubat, gubat. So I'm like, and I cried because like I didn't know what to do about it.
Mm.
I was so ashamed. And then I think he told some of our classmates about it. And then
Mm.
every time, ever since that time, whenever I would hear someone say gubat, I would always think that that person is referring to me, or that person is teasing me or what. But maybe not. So yeah, that was the first time I was ever bullied.
Is
But
that
this is
why you
what.
asked for IPL for your graduation gift?
Maybe because ever since I was so parang concerned about hair. Like I don't wanna have hair anywhere. So maybe that's what triggered it. Thank you for pointing that out. Now I understand.
So what did you
Okay.
do? Like, how did you know to shave it or to whatever have it or to remove it? However you wanted to remove it.
After that, I started shaving it.
Ah,
I started
okay.
yeah, I started asking people like, oh, what should you do with like hair and and like is it normal for women to have it? And then you'd have all of these commercials naman for deodorant
True,
na people
true.
don't have hair. Like, okay, so that's what you should do. But it lasted for okay, now I get it why after. Because ever since I've been so conscious about body hair.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what triggered it. I like this is like a session with a shrink. Trying to dig deep into your inner traumas in life.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
the first time.
probably
Yeah.
also why I'm so
Maybe that's why
particular
you're
about my
mean.
hair. What? Why?
Maybe that's why you're mean.
What
Because
do you mean?
you're trying to get back at people who were mean to you when you were a
Yeah,
kid. Or
maybe. But
maybe.
for women, bullying is always usually about looks, like
That's
certain
true.
standards of beauty.
Yep.
Because uh I haven't done it so long, I can't remember the term. The to straighten it, what is it called? Rebonded.
You're bonding. Yeah.
I rebonded my hair since high
Yes.
school
Ever.
until after graduating college. So
Okay.
so that was my hair rebonded, and then so there would be growth, like curly on
Mm,
top
mm,
and straight at the bottom. But you can't always rebond your hair, so
mm.
there will be those awkward periods that I have to grow it out before I can have it rebonded
Yeah.
again, and rebonding takes forever, at least 6 hours
Yes.
in the salon, so it's also not a fun thing to do. So I wouldn't, so
Mm.
sometimes I would have that half and half hair. So even in the office, I remember in one of my first um PR jobs,
Mm.
the people around me were making fun of my hair because it was half and half. But
Oh,
I was also
okay.
poor, so I couldn't have it rebonded. So I really didn't know what to do about it.
Mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm,
people, so when I had the poofy curly hair, people were like, maybe you
mm.
have to have it rebonded. So I did. And then now,
Okay.
and then when I had my hair rebonded, people were like, maybe you should grow out your natural hair.
And make it curly, people
Yeah,
will never like say you're perfect. they
exactly.
will they will always find something wrong.
Exactly, and I guess
Mm.
that's how you kind of get over the bullying in a way, because people will always have something to say, and that's really how I just
Yes.
started growing out my curly hair, which turned out to be way better than the straight hair anyway. Except now, because a few
It
episodes
still
ago,
it still
bad
looks nice.
haircut.
It looks nice on the back.
But even then, um, it I guess it depends on what, like, as usual, society
Mm.
says about you, and
Yeah.
the perfect example is my mom again. Because I guess she's the number one proponent of me having straight hair, so I had it
Mm,
straightened.
mm.
And then when I
Yeah.
decided to cut all the rebonded pieces and just wait for the curly hair to come out, she was very
Mm-hmm.
anti it. She felt like it looked very messy, that it didn't look good and
Mm,
whatever. But
mm.
I
Yeah.
was adamant about it,
Mm.
until I finally understood my hair and how to make it curl properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then her friends started saying that I had great hair, and they were asking me how I do it and how I take care of my hair because their children also have curly hair.
Curly hair, yeah.
And then suddenly my mom loves my curly hair. So proud that my hair is naturally this way. And I'm like, okay, after decades of you telling me not to have it, suddenly. And that's how it is in a lot of aspects in our lives, I would say.
Yeah.
That we tend to adjust ourselves all the time to
So what? Yep.
what other people say.
Yes.
And I think
And
that's go ahead.
yeah, and maybe I think because years ago there weren't any campaigns about loving yourself,
Oh,
loving your
that's
own
right.
skin.
Mm.
In the past we would always conform to what society would tell us would be the perfect woman. I also remember being bullied about my skin color. I've always
Yeah, I do remember that also.
I've always been morena ever since what I was 4 years old. Even my family would always tease me about it. Do you even consider that bullying or
I
family
guess
love? I
so.
don't know. So they would always tease me about it, and they would tell me, you should try to make your skin whiter, and there are a lot of products in the market for skin whitening, and I'm like, why
Yeah.
would I even do this, or why do I even need it? So at least at a young age, I already knew that I didn't want to be a white person, or I wouldn't be able to.
What did people call you, or what do people use to tease you about your skin tone?
I remember baluga and
Wait, ano nga yun? What is beluga?
I
Monster?
don't know. I don't remember. I never researched
Bal-
what baluga is. You should
Oh, I
Google what
don't
it is.
know what beluga is.
Pero I remember that
Grabe.
baluga or yeah. That was I think the worst thing I said to me.
The word beluga is used
Ah,
in Filipino, meaning curly haired, dark skinned monkey from Papua New Guinea.
so grabe.
But these you don't have curly hair.
Shucks, Papua New Guinea pa talaga. At least
Ye-
international naman pala.
That's right. You didn't have curly
Anyway.
hair. You were just a dark skinned monkey.
Oh my gosh. So I had to endure that, being teased about my skin color. Even until now, my family would tease me that I'm not maputi. Yeah, they
Okay.
would always say,
Mhm.
hindi naman it's better, pero they would always tease me about being morena. And
Mhm.
the good thing though is I never really tried to be white
Yeah.
or what or
Yeah.
tried different products,
Mhm.
especially now that there are a lot of campaigns about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so common for people or for Filipinos to prefer fair skin. Like this is my
Yes.
natural skin color, and I'm very surprised at how fair I apparently am because I've been diving and swimming, so I haven't been this
Mm.
white in a really long time.
You're like Michael Jackson white.
And then my mom was saying how better it looks on me because, and this verbatim, she said,
Mm.
ayoko nang maitim kasi ang dumi.
Grabe tita. Doesn't, walang logic. Doesn't follow.
Hindi ka naliligo.
Doesn't follow na porque maitim, madumi. No.
Diba? So, I don't know, this entire topic on skin tone is just a mix of a lot of things, bullying, beauty standards, stereotypes, whatever. But
Yep.
back to bullying for now. Did your bullying experiences make you want to bully other people, or did you bully other people out of your own will?
I remember the first time I bullied someone was actually in prep.
Okay, so the bullying you was
No.
no way in.
It was not related to me being when I was in sixth
Yeah.
grade. In prep, I remember there was a new student,
Mm.
and then we were a group of mean girls back then. I don't know how I got into that group. I was such a nice kid, and then I joined their group, and then they were so mean that they would always bully this new student, like
Mm.
make her get stuff for us. As in mean girls talaga na uutusan siya to do things for us or tease her
Oh.
about the way she looks and tease her about her weight. She was also
Oh
a chubby
no.
kid. I mean, we were in prep, and I think she was bullied for it the
Mm.
entire. You know her. She was bullied for her weight our entire grade school to high school life. So in high school, she lost a lot of weight. That it became,
Okay.
yes, it became a health issue already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was the only time I remember that I bullied anyone, and it's not even related to me being bullied or what.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have you?
Kids can
I mean,
just be kids can just be super cruel. I guess because when we're younger, we don't
mm,
really understand, the
yes.
repercussions of what we do, and
Yep.
it's
Yep.
just fun sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. And later on, you would realize that it
Hmm.
manifests into other things.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I do remember that girl you're talking about.
Mm,
If she's the same one,
yeah.
but she didn't have a very nice time in
In
school
school,
with
yes.
us, right?
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah.
to be fair, I mean, it wasn't just you guys. A lot of people did pick on her.
Yes.
And when she did go into that, mental health situation or just
Mm-hmm.
general health situation in high
Yeah.
school, I think that's the only time people suddenly realized,
Realized.
what they
Yeah.
did.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
by then it was kind of too late because
Yep.
it started. What did you say, prep?
Prep.
And then all the way
I
to high school. That was
know.
a very long
That was a
torture, I would
I
say.
know, and I really feel bad for doing that to her
Mm-hmm.
at such an early age. Maybe it
Yeah.
already caused her trauma early on, and
Yeah.
that's the reason why she did all of those things just to lose the weight. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, but she's in a better place now, and
Yeah.
I'm glad she's a lot better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How
See,
about you?
the advantage of
Mm-hmm.
being stuck in the honors class for years is my bullied people were limited to that class.
Okay. For everyone's appreciation, Pia was in the same section for how many years? Because
Since
she's
fourth
smart.
grade till fourth year high school.
Yes,
Eight
she's
years.
smart, and she's smart. And all the smart people are in one class, while all of us, the not so smart people are mixed up.
But see, that means my range is limited.
So you were
And
bullied by the same people every year.
no, I bullied the same people every
You
year.
also bullied. What do you mean? You also
Are
bullied?
you surprised really?
No, no
um
year.
and the good thing is, because we were classmates for so long, and some of
Mm.
them went to the same university as I did after. A
Yep.
lot of these things were resolved. So I bullied
Mm.
several people before,
Mm-hmm.
but we are okay now. One is even a really good friend of mine now.
Yeah.
But they still remind me of those times that I did stuff to them.
Mm.
So we became, sorry about my dog. So we became friends even after all these things, but they would still remind me of the
Yeah.
things that I did to them before. So it really just shows how long these things last in the minds of people.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I remember, it's not the first time incident of me bullying, but it's the
Mm-hmm.
one I remember most because that is, I think, the meanest I was ever to someone. We had a classmate who we teased for having bad breath. Um,
Okay.
and
Iniisip ko kung sino yan. Okay, sige.
And then, so we teased her blatantly about. Oh no, we didn't say it blatantly, but we, you know how
Mm-mm.
kids would be like, ugh, like that. And then
Yeah, yeah.
whenever she's around, so she's not sure if it was her or not, but it was her.
Mm,
And then there was this one time we were playing Truth or Dare
yeah.
in between classes during break. And then she spun the whatever it was and she
Mm-hmm.
said truth.
Mm.
And I had one of my nephews was my classmate at the time. Nephew because our family's super huge.
Yeah.
So we thought of a question, but he was the one who asked it. And the question was, so she said truth, right? And the question
Mm, mm.
was, did you eat poop? In Filipino, kumain ka ba ng tae? So that was the question. And then we laughed. Me and my nephew, we both laughed,
Okay.
but nobody else did. And I'm like, oops, I think we went too far. And then she walked out. And then she walked out
Ah,
of the circle. And then obviously that was, a very
mm.
bad experience for her. And
Yeah.
then same girl was one of the first people who got her period in the
Okay.
class. And again, because
Okay.
we are the same people every single
Mm,
year, these
mm,
kinds of
mm.
things we know about each other.
Yeah.
So she was the same person got that was the first person to get the period.
Period. Yeah.
So what we did, and it's not just me, which I guess makes it worse.
Yeah.
Um, we bought sanitary napkins and then
Okay.
broke red pen and
Okay.
poured the red ink onto the napkins and then stuffed it in her bag so that when she opened it, it's like she had bloody napkin in
You're
her bag.
so
I
mean.
know. So see, this is how twisted it can get.
Yeah.
I've told this story many times and I found it funny for a really
Mm-hmm.
long time. Like it's
Mm.
really just recently that every time I say it, I'm saying it as an example of things not of what not to do.
Yeah.
And it's only really recently that I'm feeling very bad about what I did.
Yeah.
But before that, I still found it funny.
Yeah, I remember the same story. And I
Mm.
think you also know this. There was this girl in high school.
Mm.
She was our classmate when we were in first year high school. And then she would constantly get bullied about her skin color.
Mm-hmm.
She was morena. She was darker than me though. So they would pick on her. And
Mm.
then I think she had a mole in her face. I don't really remember, but she had a mark in her face. And then she was very thin,
Mm.
and we would always just pick on her like for any random whatever thing we notice about her. And then at one point, we would have these classroom sessions, or it's like a homeroom session. She just opened up. She went to in front of her classroom, and then she told everyone, bakit niyo ba ako ano yun? Bakit niyo ba
Pinag-iinitan.
ako pinag-iinitan? Parang
Mm.
ganun, bakit niyo ako pinagkakaisahan? Ganun
Hala.
ba ako kapangit? Gumanon siya. And then
Oh no.
we were all stunned. As in talagang wala nagsalita. No one answered. No, and then it just ended like that. Like wala nag-respond to her. But
Mm.
the bullying still continued. And then
Oh
after that
no.
session, I remembered that we would talk about it in our groups, and then we would laugh like, that was so funny, like
Oh
what she did.
gosh.
And then, you know what, she's like one of the, I think, top lawyers now. And we're all scared of her.
Retaliation.
We're not scared for our life. So, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Please don't get back at me. Don't do anything. I have a family now. I'm a nicer person. I've changed.
I don't know what to do about these things, I
Yeah.
mean, if I were in school now, I mean, I don't know when the transition happens when you
Mm,
realize bullying is bad or bullying is
yeah.
wrong.
Yep.
right? Because I, even in college, I think I still did some form of bullying. Even after college, I still did
Mm.
some form of bullying.
Mm.
So I'm not sure what the motivations are exactly, but I have a feeling it's something like there is, what is that German term? I can't remember what it is.
Mm.
Schadenfreude or something like that, where
Okay.
people derive pleasure from someone else's misery. Um, and I
Ooh,
feel like
okay.
bullying is something like that. That when we
Mm.
see
Mm.
someone else in a worse situation, we feel good about
Yeah.
ourselves because at least we're not them, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it also depends because I also feel nowadays that people are a little more sensitive
Yep.
than they were. Like I
Than
hate
before.
how everything is suddenly politically incorrect. You know, like you can say anything and it will always somehow be racist, right?
Yep.
Or always
Yep.
somehow be culturally inappropriate
Yep.
somewhere in the world.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so that then becomes the the complication, like when are you bullying and when are you really just
Yeah.
raising a
Raising a point.
defense.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
raising an opinion about something.
Hmm.
Yeah. I also remember like whenever we would do any speech, any type of content,
Hmm.
like we would have to really triple check if it's politically correct. Unlike
Hmm.
in the past, it's like free for all. Like we would
Yeah.
just say stuff and not really care if there are a lot of people who would get hurt about it.
And
Are
who's
we
to
are we just
say?
yeah? Are we just overreacting?
I don't know. I mean, who's to say something is bullying? I mean,
Yeah.
because the impact is also dependent on the person. Like, if you told me that
Mm.
my hair is terrible, it
Mm.
I wouldn't feel hurt by it because
Yes.
it's you. I know it's a joke,
Yes.
but what you said was mean. You
Mm.
know,
Mm.
so and then you were asking a while ago, like if your older siblings would tell you to do stuff, is that bullying or not? So
Yep.
maybe that's where the complication really happens, because maybe for
Yeah.
the bully it may or may not be an intentional kind of bullying, but for the bullied it is already more impactful than what the other person
Mm-hmm.
intended it to be.
To be, yeah, yeah, that's right. Also, for the bully, it might be just a joke to
Mm-hmm,
begin with.
mm-hmm.
A joke that he didn't really think like
Yeah,
quickly, like a quick joke lang, diba?
yeah. And
So we really can't tell if it's really a bullying or not.
mhm. And
Mm.
again, that's where the subjectivity comes in, because what
Yes.
may be a joke to us is not is very very insulting to someone else. I did read
Yeah.
somewhere that
Mm.
the difference between bullying and conflict, like bullying or no, conflict is when um, there is equal power between two people, and
Okay.
that I am just as capable of responding or of protecting
Mm.
myself against the other person I have a conflict with.
Mm.
And bullying is when number one, there is intent to hurt,
Okay. Okay.
whether or not you know it, because sometimes people would deny, again with
Yeah.
the it
Yeah.
was a joke,
Yep.
but even when you're joking about something, you're targeting a certain flaw or a
Mm.
certain
Mm-hmm.
problem. That's why you made a joke about it, right?
Yes.
But so bullying is when there is an intent to hurt, whether or not you admit it. And second
Mm.
of all is when the one person has more power over the other, and it's not just about
Okay.
um, like hierarchy or whatever, but there is
Mm.
also such a
Mm-hmm.
thing as, I think, psychological power or
Okay.
emotional power.
Yeah.
When I mean, people who are bullied are usually the ones that are easy to pick on.
Mm. Mm. That's true.
And the bullies exist because, again, I feel like they just really want to feel better about
About
themselves, and
themselves.
they
Yeah.
look for easy prey that won't
Yeah.
make them feel worse about
Yeah, that's
themselves.
true. Or maybe there's something like a trauma in them,
Mm-hmm.
or something that they haven't fixed within themselves.
You know, one of the things that my boss always tells me when I get irritated at somebody, he always
Mm-hmm.
says most of the time people are irritated about what they see in other people that
Okay.
annoys me for myself. Meaning, or
Mm-hmm.
in how do I say that better? Like, if I'm annoyed at you, if I'm annoyed at you for, let's say,
Mm.
being too talkative when you're not, but
Okay.
let's say I'm annoyed at you for being too talkative, it's
Mm-mm.
because I see in you something that I don't like in myself, being reflected on
Okay.
you, and that's what I pick on, or that's what annoys me.
Mm-mm.
And I feel maybe bullying is the same way.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like bullying has become a lot worse now, mainly of
Yes.
social media. You know, for all the things that social media has done for society, I mean, human beings always have a knack of screwing things up. So, of course, social media has made a lot of things worse, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's even worse in children.
Yeah.
Like the data from UNICEF is 1 in 3 young people in 30 countries say that they have been a victim of online bullying, and this is more prevalent in kids ages 13 to 17. Those are the
That's tough.
formative years. Imagine
Mm-mm.
being bullied
Yeah.
during those years,
Mm-hmm.
how much weight you carry, into your
Yeah.
adult life. And as we've already experienced, it does carry into adult life, right? That's
Yep.
why I'm, again, going back to the I don't want kids. That I feel is one thing that I don't know how to deal with. I mean, you have
Yeah.
Candace, and
Yeah.
she will go through the same things, and you knowing what you have done and what has been done to you times five, because there's also social media now. Like, doesn't that scare you about
It
releasing
does.
Candace into the world?
Does, which is why I try as much as I can for her not to be obsessed with all of these
Mm,
gadgets and all of these. She doesn't even have screen time until now. She's turning 1,
mm,
and we don't allow her to use the phone for YouTube or what have you, because I'm scared that she might just really like using the cell phone a
mm,
lot of times. And I remember there's this kid who's she just turned 12. She's a
mm,
very pretty girl, and I would always ask her, why are you so conscious whenever you would post anything on Facebook? And she would tell me, oh, kasi they would always tease me na
mm,
pangit or whatever. And like, bakit ka nila ititease na pangit? Ang ganda-ganda mo. And then she would just be so shy. She would not really talk to, like, when we're in a group, she would not really talk to us because she suddenly turned shy.
mm,
Parang naiba yung behavior niya. Unlike before, she would always go around and be more outgoing. Now she suddenly became, wala, nasa isang sulok na lang. And all of because of these things that are being said to her
yeah.
over social media. So I'm scared what would happen to Candace, 10, 15 years down the line. I'm sure I hope it's not going to get worse. There are a lot
Mm,
of cyberbullying laws already
yeah.
in place, but I'm not sure if it's enacted as much.
I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it's only enacted when, first of all, if it's a celebrity who
Mm.
complains about it, or
Mm-mm.
if you're proactively doing, all the reports or whatever it is that you need to do to call the attention of authorities, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not like, if you're already bullied online and if your self-esteem is already down, you wouldn't be, I don't imagine them having the will and proactiveness
Mm.
to do all the things they have to do to make sure that
Yeah.
their bullies answer to whatever it is that they have to answer to.
Yep.
And again, I feel that's also in a way victim blaming, because why is
Yeah.
it that the bullied person has to be the one to take action? It has to be the bully
The
that
bully. Yeah.
has to
Yeah, that's
correct
true.
himself.
Mm.
Um, and again, the things that people are bullied about now, I feel, are also worse. Like when we were kids, it's about the hair, the skin
The way
color,
you look,
the
yeah.
way you look, the way you talk,
Mm.
maybe. Those
Yeah.
are all bad things. But now the bullying strategies are, I feel, scarier because
Yes.
content is getting increasingly sexual, and
Mm.
people are getting braver about bullying
Yes.
because they're anonymous. Like I can just create, and you know how, I mean, I've read this so many times where
Mm.
um an account is created
Mm.
to to for the sole purpose of bullying
Yes.
someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, to go through all that trouble just to, make someone else feel bad says more about that person than the person who's being bullied.
Yeah, that's true. And there are a lot of people who would just say whatever just to piss anyone,
Mm-hmm.
especially if your content is public and then,
Mm-hmm.
wala silang magawa in their
Yeah.
time. Marami silang
Yeah.
time. They would just comment away and just say anything that's hurtful,
And
just
they're looking for validation, I'm sure, because
mm,
in our condo there's a Facebook group for all the residents in the condo, and we have a lot of foreigners here.
okay.
And unfortunately, many of the Chinese tenants are usually the targets of what I
Oh.
feel are unfair comments. So
Oh, okay.
here we have, we're allowed to have dogs, as you could hear, and they're only allowed to ride the service elevator.
Okay.
So that's one elevator, and then we have new tenants every now and then, and they wouldn't know that rule. So I would see every now and then people going into the other elevators.
Mm.
I personally don't mind because I have a dog
Yeah.
anyway and don't mind having dogs around, but I do understand why other people wouldn't want that to happen.
Mm.
So I hate that Facebook group because that is a
What?
group for people
Mm.
to rant and to put others down,
Yep.
again with the safety blanket of anonymity.
Oh,
um
okay.
yeah, I mean, they have their names there, but it's not like you can
Mm-hmm.
find them, or it's not
Yes,
like you
yeah.
know them really. So there's this
Mm-mm.
one person who took a photo of a Chinese resident with his puppy in the elevator that's not the service elevator, and the caption was, um I don't know if he really just doesn't understand English or he's just playing stupid.
Huh.
um
Huh.
so again, he there's no point of
Mm.
making that post. Like, if you are
Yeah.
really
You're
bothered,
concerned, yeah.
yeah, talk to the person. He's like
Yeah.
right in front of you, right? But instead
Mm.
of correcting that behavior, he took a photo and
Mm.
publicized it on the Facebook group, which to me is the absolute act of cowardice.
Yeah.
And
That's true. Mm.
him posting it is him looking for self-validation, like, look, I'm so cool, this is
Mm.
funny, I'm gonna
Yeah.
post it. Unfortunately for him, it backfired big time. Like, even I responded. I usually don't respond to anything on that group, but even I responded because, again, that's
Mm.
so unfair, and
Yeah.
that is very pointless to do.
Yeah.
Because doing that on Facebook, and this is true for a lot of people posting all of these things on Facebook. Like,
Mm.
it doesn't resolve anything.
Yep.
You just add to the already noisy platform with a pointless rant that accomplishes nothing but your desire for self-validation.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Naghahanap
that
lang ng
is,
kakampi.
yeah, and I
Mm.
feel that is the motivation for bullying in general,
Today. Okay.
right? To get self-validation for whatever it is that you want to get.
Mm.
um
Yeah.
and maybe also to hide a lot of the insecurities that they have about themselves.
About themselves. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. I think, there's also this racial bullying pala in your condo.
Mm, a lot,
So
a lot.
there are really a lot of different forms of bullying, and
Mm-hmm.
yesterday we were talking about this. Can you consider abuse as a form of bullying as well? So it's really an entire what do you call it? Entire mountain of
Yeah.
networks of types of bullying.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's still doing harm to other people.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
bottom line is, if your intention is to harm someone else, that is still considered bullying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the big question now is, I mean, is there a way to stop it, to stop being bullied, and to stop bullying other people?
I was thinking about this when I woke up, because
Mm,
we talked about this topic since last week, and then kanina I was thinking, how are we going to be able to end bullying so that my child would not experience it
mm.
when she grows up. And then I realized, how can we stop it when you see it on TV every day, when your
Yeah.
leaders are bullies to begin
Oh
with?
my gosh, that is true. That is
So
true.
how, when it's already in the system from top down,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So yeah, what's your take? Well, how do you think can we change, or can we end bullying?
We can't. Now that you mention it, that's so true though. When it
Mm,
comes to our political leaders, and this is a principle that we have for corporate PR, where
mm,
when we talk about company culture, that
yeah,
um, culture always starts from the top. So whatever the culture of the CEO is, that will be the culture of the company. No matter how much you try to change the culture, if the CEO himself
mm,
or herself does not change, that will always be the culture that will prevail in the company. And it's
yeah,
same with the country. I mean,
yeah.
look at our president and look at America's president. Because they are such bullies, it makes the citizens feel like it's okay to
Yep,
do the same things, to say the
yep.
same things.
Hmm.
Um, I
Not
don't.
just bullying. There are a lot of other negative things that they are showing, and
Mm-hmm,
there one interview of this person, and she was it was about corruption, and then they were asking her, how can we end corruption in the Philippines? And then she said, it has to start from education in school, which is really that's right. But
mm-hmm,
even if you teach it in school, if it's something
yeah,
that the child would see outside
yeah.
or through the family, it's never gonna change.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's also one thing. Education is an answer to a lot of our
Hmm.
problems, and I feel even also bullying. I think that this has to be an open topic in schools,
Yeah.
because when we were kids, bullying was never really a discussion,
Yep.
and when never, like never a discussion, even if
Hmm.
it's blatantly happening, there was really nothing teachers would say about it, or
Mm-mm.
parents even would say about it. But whoever that person was interviewed was right.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
a lot of the issues we have now with children and when they become adults can be and should be addressed while they're being in school, because first of all, a lot of this happens while they're in school.
Yeah,
um,
it's true. So maybe
so
we should include it in a certain subject.
like
Yeah.
Christian living.
Or GMRC. Meron pa ba nun?
Hindi ko alam ano nga yung GMRC.
Good morals and right conduct.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it should be a topic in, just like when we had in our homeroom class, a 15-minute time to talk about certain values that, the
Mm.
children should have.
Mhm, mhm.
And yeah, I agree with you. It should be an open discussion, because, sometimes people really think, I'm not being bullied. It's just a joke. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, pala, you realize, I was bullied.
It starts from within you, or it's the solution starts from you. But sometimes people just don't know any better, especially when you talk about kids. So how
Mm.
do you expect them this to be the solution if they're
Yeah.
not even aware? So I think it really does have to start from school, from education. But at
Mm-hmm.
our age, at this point in our lives, I would love to say that you have to be more conscious about what you say, what you do, to have more regard for other people's um, well-being. But that's also
Mm-hmm.
so much easier said than
Said than
done.
done. Yeah, that's true. Because sometimes, you can't really, minsan ang bilis na lang eh. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
just think of something to say and then you won't really have time to think if it's politically correct or am I gonna, you can't, you're not a computer. So,
Yeah, and it's like you only realize it after the fact.
yes. So if
So
you do
maybe,
realize it, you just apologize immediately.
yeah. So you just
Right.
say sorry. Like I'm saying sorry to all of you now.
Yeah, me too. Again, sorry to the lawyer. I don't want to have an episode in, revenge or something.
See, look at us. We're saying sorry, but we're making fun of them.
I know
What is
that's
wrong with us,
nice.
Em?
I hope they're laughing also.
I mean,
Ah,
we have drawn up a conclusion, and these conclusions are very ideal. But
yeah.
I almost don't want to say it because I know that I wouldn't be able to follow it to the T. Although I
Yeah,
do
because
agree with, for people who are bullied, try as much as you can to speak up. It's not
yeah.
going to be the easiest thing to do, and it's not going to be the best way to stop being bullied, because probably you will be bullied even more if you do speak
Yeah.
up. But it's the age old challenge. Like, if you don't do it, who will? If you don't do it for
Yes.
yourself,
Yeah.
no one will.
Yeah.
Um, so that's that. But for
Hmm.
bullies like us, I
I'm
mean,
not a
you
bully.
you don't know that. You have to be mindful, to be more careful. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I get it, but we'll see if I can actually do it.
I think one of the things that I learned in this experience of being bullied and being a bully, and I've I've actually I realized just now that I experience it a lot in my relationships
Mm.
because ever since I wasn't as assertive. I would always allow the guy to take the lead, even just on what food do you want to eat. I'm like, ikaw na bahala. Arte-arte. I wouldn't like be assertive on the stuff that I want to have in a day. So
Yeah.
at one point, there was this marketing head who told me, you have to be more assertive. You have to really say if you think of something, if you feel something, if you disagree on something, if you feel that someone is not doing it the way you want it done, you just have to really speak up and say your piece. And I think since then, that's how I also propelled in my career.
Mm.
Because in the start, I was just being really still nice and being, kaya na bahala. and then and then I would see you like you're always so assertive about your opinions. I'm like, okay, I have to be like Pia. She would really say she would really speak up her mind, and it's hard when you're a kid and you're still trying to figure out what you want to do in your life. But if you feel that it's wrong, if you feel that you're getting hurt, just say enough, stop it, or have someone to talk to about how you
Mm.
feel. Yeah, and for the bully, one day it will hit
Come
you in the
back to you.
The Chismis Table.